Welcome back, Samurai, and today we're going to be talking about Shogun Episode 5, Broken to the Fist. So, there's just nothing else to say that this show is amazing. I mean, there's been 5 episodes, and all 5 episodes have knocked this out of the park. Without further ado, this is a 10 out of 10 episode. There is no reason for you not to just jump in and watch this show if you haven't watched it yet. Now, I'm not going to talk about spoilers here. Spoilers will be later on in the spoiler section, but this show is evolving constantly into something even better than it was in the previous episode. And when the previous episodes were very good, excellence is the only word that can be used to describe the way that this show is, how this show is. The actors, the settings, the music, the ambiance, everything about the show is 100% amazing, beautiful, capturing. It is just such a good TV show, and you need to watch it if you haven't. In this episode, there was so much that happened. I don't even know how it was an hour long. It was so long, and there was so much that happened, and I kept wanting to have more and more. It didn't necessarily feel like it was dragging on. Every story that they talk about is so good. Every story that they're exploring is so good. Unlike something like the Halo series, for example, which I won't go into any spoilers, but there's at least 4 different main characters that I just don't care about, and we keep getting information on those characters in the Halo series, and nobody cares. Nobody cares. Just nobody cares. And so every time they go on a side story, it detracts from the things that you want to see. And that's not the case in this. In this show, everything that you get on the screen is relevant to the overall plot. Everything that you see on the screen furthers character development of all characters. Everything is relevant and valid and wonderful. And this even extends to minor characters that you normally would just brush past, like somebody on the street just walking past the main character, right? In this, there are minor characters that are really nothing characters that end up making you go, oh man, or oh, that was so cool, or I like that guy, you know? And it's so nice to have a show where every character fits, not just the main characters, not just some characters that they're trying to promote for some reason. Every character matters, every story is worth telling, and every one of them is amazing and fantastic and just so well written. And honestly, going into this week, I thought I might have a letdown week. I got a kind of a letdown week with The Walking Dead on Sunday, and so I thought maybe this was the week that Shogun was going to fall down too, but no, not even. It's a 10 out of 10. And I can't wait to see the next episode. Every time the end credits come up, I sit there and I look at the screen and I go, no, I want to see more. I want more. Don't make me wait another week. And here I am waiting in anticipation for another week to go by so I can jump right back into this show where we were and just pick up where I left off and just dive right in and enjoy. It's so good. Please, if you haven't watched it, turn this off. Don't worry about the spoiler section. Go watch it, and then you can come and finish these videos. Okay, that being said, we are going to jump into the spoiler section, so if you haven't seen it, this is where you are going to want to turn things off if you don't want things spoiled for you. Okay, now we're in the spoiler section. Let's talk about this. Again, this episode is a 10 out of 10. I mean, pretty much every episode was a 10 out of 10. I gave episode 2 a 9.5 because I kind of felt like, I don't know, I was biased or something. I don't even remember why it was a 9.5, but we'll just say it's a 9.5. But when you take in the averages, it's a 10. It's a 10 out of 10. The show's so good. And I mean, every character, the gardener died. He killed himself. It's so depressing and so Japanese, but so depressing. I'm like, no. And then you see the main character. He's like, oh, why did he do that? No, it's my fault. Oh my gosh, the anguish that he's now got to feel the responsibility for what this guy did and the whole house. Like, he's really starting to see what the culture really is. And I think he's actually kind of upset. He's a little depressed about it because he's like, you people are not happy. You guys are all miserable no matter what you do. This sucks. And I think he's really concerned for Mariko, obviously. And there's obviously that love interest there. And after what happened the previous night, right? And now we got Buntaro back. And that's great because he sucks. he's just the worst. I mean, he's not evil or anything, but he's such a jerk. Like, I mean, he's just not a good dude. He's not evil, but he's not a good dude, and he's very, very miserable and unhappy and mean. And man, I mean, at least in this episode, we got a little more understanding as to why he treats his wife like such crap. It's because she came from a very dishonored house, right? And it was after they had gotten married. And so it's not what he signed up for in the first place. And so I guess I understand with the Japanese, especially at this time with the samurai, the honor code and how it looks bad on him and it's disgraceful that she's his wife and so on and so forth. But man, he went to town on her and then he chased him outside and called him out. And then we had the whole scene where he kind of like acquiesced to him and basically begged for forgiveness, right? Because he did dishonor his home. It was dishonorable. And I don't know if he's planning something on the side or what's going to happen there, but I am excited to see what is going to happen, because there is that little bit of a love triangle. And then you have the other girl who's his, what do you call it? Basically the head servant of the house. Oh my gosh, why am I... Whatever. She's there, and you can see that their relationship is growing too. I don't know if it's necessarily romantic or whatnot, but it is definitely growing, and you can see she is starting to take... she has kind of an affection for him in the sense of she's taking pride in serving him and serving the house and wants to actually please him, right, and make sure that everything is as he needs and wants. And then at the very end, when you see him... He goes and checks on her after she got hurt, kind of holds her hand briefly, and you could tell that meant something to her. And then he goes off to the garden, and he's out there fixing the garden for the gardener who died, and doing the same kind of brushing with his hands on the ground like the gardener was doing with the rock. And she saw that, and you could tell that she felt a way about that, in a good way, right? A good way about that. It touched her in a way that showed that he's not just a barbarian. I think that he is more than that, and a caring man too. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. Maybe there will be a romance there. Maybe Mariko is the endgame romance, the true one, but maybe he has this short-term romance with her, and then she dies before things actually happen with Mariko. Maybe that's what happened. Maybe she dies for him. I don't know. That would be depressing and sad, but it would totally fit the show. So we'll see what happens. Man, I feel like I've just been ranting and rambling on about this show. It's just so good. There's just nothing more I can say about how good it is. The landslide was so cool. I love that. That was awesome. And then they go and they get Toranaga out, and he's just like, I can't believe this guy. He's never leaving Japan. This guy's got to stay here forever. And then he's like, here, man, take my swords. And he's just like, dude, you're the best, man. Where have you been my life? You can't leave me ever, right? It's just such a good show. I need more. I need more now. I need it right now. Somebody send me a bootleg version of episode 6 so I can binge that tonight. Thank you very much. Well, let me know what you guys think about Buntaro and what you think is going to happen with all of that. Let me know if you think... I'm pretty sure that Anjin, his... position's going to keep rising with Toranaga. He's going to become more and more important, and I think they're going to have a blossoming friendship, really. It's like every time they're together, he does something that impresses Toranaga even more, every time. And I can see them becoming very close at some point, so that's going to be pretty cool. But what do you think is going to happen with Buntaro, with Mariko? Put it down in the comments. Let me know what you guys think. I know we're all going to be rooting for them to be together, him and Mariko, but... we'll see what happens. I mean, her husband's there. He's a fine warrior. Like, he's a very good warrior. He might be a jerk of a human, but he's a very solid warrior, right? And if they have any kind of a traditional duel, that's not going to go well for Anjin. But at the same point in time, I think Buntaro knows if he's got his gun and he's got swords, he's not going to win, especially at close range, right? So if it's a bow versus gun, I don't know. Those guns back then weren't the most accurate, and... Buntaro, his crazy accurate guy. I mean, he's freaking the Japanese Legolas. Like, he'll hit anything at anywhere at any time, even if he's drunk off of his booty. So I'm excited to see what comes of that. Let me know what you guys think of everything that happened in this episode. Yeah, just let me know. I'm curious what your guys' thoughts are. Thank you for hanging out, everybody. I'm going to go ahead and cut this short. I'm driving up to Massachusetts for PAX East tonight, so it's going to be a little shorter than usual, but let me know what you guys think. Thanks for hanging out, everybody. I appreciate it, as always, and I do look forward to seeing everyone in the next video. But until then, take care.